Hello, I'm Isidro. I'm a professional cook, and today I'm going to make the spaghetti from the last episode of the first season of The Bear or the Bear. I've already watched this series. I think it's a very cool series. I like how it shows the world of cooking. I feel that it shows the reflection of tension and adrenaline, but with that quota of respect that is not seen in many other movies. As for the dish we are going to recreate today, it's spaghetti with a traditional Italian sauce. We're going to start with the confit, which is the longest process in this recipe. The confit is a low temperature cooking method in a fatty medium. We'll use sunflower oil in this case. The approximate cooking time is 30 to 40 minutes. We're exposing these herbs, garlic and chili to temperatures of 120 to 130 degrees. We're gonna wait first for this oil to heat up. The amount of oil will always depend on the size of your pot, your pan, and also on the amount of vegetables you have to cook. We're going to put this on medium heat. It would be best to have a thermometer. In case we don't have a thermometer, we grab some garlic, some piece of leaf, whatever. We throw it in. It shouldn't bubble too much. We're going to throw in about what would be a handful of basil, and we have about 10 cloves of garlic that we're going to throw in whole. The basil also doesn't need to be cut or anything. The only thing we're going to cut is our chili, which, depending on your taste, how much you like it spicy or not, you remove the seeds or leave them in. If you're not a fan of spicy food, consider eliminating the dairy. The series uses dried chili flakes, but we'll use fresh chilies. Begin by taking off the head and removing the seeds, which are the primary source of the heat. Then just flip it over. It's similar to a bell pepper with two sides. The skin side is usually spicier. The other side may be a little challenging to handle, so always hold it from the inside. And simply cut. While the oil finishes heating, I arrange this elsewhere, and I'm going to start cutting the onion and put the water for the pasta. As the protagonist of the series says, I simply cut it in half. And that's all we're going to do. It seems a bit strange to me that he only uses half the onion and doesn't cut it, doesn't chop it. But clearly what he must be looking for is the flavor, and that the presence of the onion is not in the sauce. We have the oil on low heat. As we can see, it takes a few little bubbles, but small ones. So we can start adding the rest of the ingredients. I'm adjusting the chilies. It's spicy, we need caution. At the Bear, I believe they use palm oil, which is a very traditional frying oil in the United States. For me, it's truly damaging, it's proven. And we use this one today, which is perhaps the most accessible, and I think there would be no need to use olive oil, since in my particular case, I like to use it only fresh. We're going to leave this pot for about half an hour, 40 minutes, we're going to check on it. In the series, there is a moment in which there are some cuts where you can't see how the recipe is fully made. So this is what I think he does with the basil, chili and garlic. He processes and adds the sauce. Here we have the water for the pasta. What we're going to do is simply salt the water. No rocket science. While we continue to wait for the confit to finish cooking, we're going to bring the pan with the butter and start browning the onion halves. We're going to use 2 good cubes of butter. In the recipe, I see that he throws in the onion and then the butter. It seems like he's in a bit of a hurry. I would do it the other way around, where I would wait for the butter to melt at a temperature and then add the onion. Here we have our onion and our tomato sauce. Hopefully we find some good dollars in here. In the series, they use San Marzano tomatoes, which is a classic type of tomato from Italy. We're going to use crushed tomatoes. We can see that we have the butter at a slightly higher temperature. We're adding the onion bit by bit to give it time. Since we have a large onion, I decide not to put it in with the butter at a very high temperature, but let it gradually heat up. In this way, it begins to gently release all its aromas, its flavors. And I'm going to check the oil. They got me some garlic, and I'm going to try to make it into a puree. If it turns into a puree, it means it's ready. We filter it with a fine sieve because we simply want to obtain the solid part. We save the fat. Once these vegetables are strained, we are going to put them in the processor, process them, and once they are ready, we add them to the tomato sauce. We begin to see the onion turn golden. So I don't want any more to remain. What I'm going to do now is add the tomato sauce. So I add a liquid to stop all of this. We now have a medium fire. We can raise it, then lower it again. We're waiting for the mix to boil and the flavors to concentrate. Once it reduces a bit more, we'll add the onion, basil, chili and garlic. We're not adding them now to ensure proper reduction because it's already cooked. There's no need to give this more cooking time since it's already ready. I interrupt the video to tell you that if you're liking what you're seeing, give it a like and subscribe. We can see that the sauce has started to reduce a bit. So what we're going to do is add the rest of the ingredients. The basil, the chili and the garlic, and we mix. We're going to unify everything together. Now, as soon as we finish unifying this, What we're going to do is start cooking the pasta. We have the sauce here that continues to cook. Here we have the noodles and the water that is already boiling. We'll proceed by adding the pasta without breaking it. We're patient and wait for it to start bending on its own. We also don't burn ourselves, and that's it. As seen earlier, this already has salt. Here we can see how the onion is catching on. This is the dish in which we are going to plate the pasta. Now I'm going to proceed to remove the onion because shortly our pasta will be ready, which we want outside. Now what we're going to do is season our sauce. First we try it like this. We check to know how much salt we would put in, more or less. There might be an ingredient that imparts a strong flavor, reducing the need for salt. What I like to do is I always take the pasta out before it's al dente and finish cooking it with the sauce. You also add a little bit of cooking water and try to emulsify it a bit to give a nice finish to the dish. We can either strain it or transfer it like this. I'm going to do it this way now because this way you also naturally drag a little bit of the water. You mix it a little and you can bring a little bit of water. Once we have the pasta ready, we serve it like at home. Without much care, to enjoy a good plate of pasta, we grate a little bit of cheese to each one's taste. Like in the series, we finish with grated cheese and with a couple of basil leaves. And maybe as we were thinking, I think they finished with a drizzle of olive oil on top. And that's how the dish from the bear series looks. Now we are going to try. How did the bear recipe turn out? Let's see. It's a recipe with classic ingredients that they implemented in another way, which I think is very good. In fact, I think I'm going to start making my pastas like this from now on. The onion thing surprised me. In fact, I thought it wasn't going to work, that it wasn't going to taste that good. And in the end, the onion even ends up cooking. In fact, everything that is the confit we made with the basil, the chili and the garlic, also spectacular. It wasn't too spicy either. Even though we removed the seeds, I recommend that you dare and put them all in. Well, now Nico is coming to steal the plate. Let's get his opinion. Watch the series.
I saw the series. I don't remember much about what it was about now. I was outside while cooking, so I didn't see much. But, well, let's see what the final verdict is. I'm going to see if I feel any difference. It's really good, very good, and it doesn't have any onion in there.
No, it contains a good amount of garlic, but it's not overpowering.
It's great, like that buttery thing you talked about, correct? It's like thinking I met you as a joke. Yes, literally.
People don't know, but I was at a party and he came up to me, hey, great umami, come cook, go ahead.
I experience it more intensely, very young. Yes, more like uniform and more, and it seems like the flavors come from the sauce and not from biting into things, right? Thank you.